Well, I'm live. This is the inaugural experimental. I'm calling it experimental, not inaugural, Fanboy Planet live stream. I wanted to talk about a book that came out last week in what I've got to consider both a fantastic book, but also terrible timing. It's a comic by J. Michael Straczynski and Mike Deodato Jr., who is the artist, and it is terrific. It's called, if you didn't catch that, The Resistance, which is launching, I guess, a new superhero universe or a new shared universe from a company called AWA, which is Artists, Writers, and Artisans Incorporated. Its editor-in-chief is Axel Alonso, who had created a lot of great, or I say curated, edited a lot of great books for Marvel Comics in the first decade of this century, or I guess into the second decade. Really great editor, and he recruited J. Michael Straczynski. He's one of the people that had brought Straczynski into Amazing Spider-Man and into Thor, and the publisher is actually Bill Jamis, who was, or some people call him famous, some call him infamous for being the person that brought Joe Quesada in as well, way back when, and part of the Marvel Renaissance. It's an interesting book, and why I'd say the timing is terrible is that the origin of this universe is that there's a pandemic on Earth that if you catch the virus, it's if you're infected, it's a 95% fatality rate. But as the book goes on, it becomes clear that 5%, those 5% that survive, are given gifts of some kind. And this first issue is really dealing with how the Earth governments and how the world deals with this horrible reality. It's really well done. It's gripping. Deodato's art is fantastic, and yet, like I said, it's just a weird time for it to come out. You may have missed these books, and like I say, right now, I'm recording this on March 27th, Friday evening, and for many places across the country, your opportunity to get into a comic shop is nil. You can't. But maybe your local shop did get this, and if it's one that is able to ship to you, you can order through them and have it sent. You can go to fanboyplanet.com. I have a list on Fanboy Planet of stores that at this point are able to ship to you. As I was talking with Dan Shaheen a couple of nights ago on his live stream, or I was making comments, and the panel mentioned there are several stores that, because of the way the shelter in place or full-on lockdown is being interpreted, they can't even get into their shops to put groups together, to put books together and packages. So I'm not sure, it'll vary place to place, but I do have a running list of stores that at this point can send to you. And if you know of a store that I do not have there, because I don't have too many, I just reached out to some retailers I knew and asked, and they let me post their information. If you know of any stores that are doing so, please let me know, and I will add that to the list. As well as, I'm going to add this, once again, saying this is great. You can order this book digitally through AWA directly online. When it says, find a store that has it, it goes to the local comic shop, or comicshoplocator.com, which is a great service, but like right now that doesn't help. But there have been a couple of publishers, and I think there are going to be more, that have come up with really great plans to try to help retailers during this time where they ordinarily can't get new product, because Diamond Distributors, the main source of new comics, because they're in Pennsylvania, right, they're actually not allowed to run their warehouse either, it seems, right now. So they cannot receive new books. So they just said, for the duration, no new books. This is an industry in flux at the moment. I'm hoping everybody bands together and comes through. But I want to go back to those publishers. There are at least two that I know of so far. TKO Studios and Black Mask Studios, and I have both of those listed on Fanboy Planet as well. That if you buy their books directly from them, and in special instructions in Black Mask, when you do the order, it says special instructions, you list your local comic shop and where it is, and they will split their revenue with them. 50% of the price will go to the shop, because ordinarily, in the best of times, you would be buying the book from your local shop, maybe not from their website. And the same thing goes with the TKO Studios, which has some terrific books, and you can just check out there that that they're splitting the revenue as well. There's a game company, Japanime Games, that is also doing the same thing. If you are a gamer, that's one. I'm not too familiar with their product, but well, not at all. But Rick Brettschneider, the podcast producer and contributor to Fanboy Planet, is a great fan of that, or aware of them, and has played their games. So I'm hoping more publishers will follow suit. And in the meantime, I think this AWA is turned out to be great. They had another book out last week called Hotel, with two L's, kind of a horror anthology, things kind of all tied together. It too is really good. So in better times, this would have been an incredibly fortuitous, impressive debut. I just don't know who's going to be able to get a chance to really give this a try right now. But I'm going to weather through, because, again, this is fantastic. Tomorrow morning, I would have gone to Collector's Paradise in North Hollywood. J. Michael Straczynski was scheduled to sign this. And so I was really looking forward to that. And, so again, hope everything gets rescheduled and we all get through this, and that you're able to read comics through this as well. That it helps kind of take your mind off it. I'm going to be honest, the Resistance isn't going to take your mind off of what's going on in the world right now, but it is a really interesting take on an alternate universe. So it would have been a pick of the week any other week. And that's it. So thank you for joining me in on this, or watching this at a later point. Like I said, it's an experiment, as you may yourself have experienced, as I was trying to figure out, hey, could I live stream? And is it the time to do it? Well, I couldn't get any better equipment, because nothing can be shipped to me till like May. So Rick and I were talking, we may be playing around with live stream a lot more in the near future, and recording back and forth, and maybe even the podcast sections of the podcast will be live streamed. So let me know if you watch this and thought, yeah, this is an interesting way to do it, to get some info out and maybe have some fun conversation. You want to join a fun conversation, let me know. One more way to do it. So thank you very much, and remember, use your powers for good.